So to start, today we're going to be working with an item that I've named panel. I've created it in the inventory module, so I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. And you'll notice that I'm using the search. Everyone's sort of got their preference, but I typically use the universal search on a day-to-day basis. So here we can see the item that I've created named panel, and this is what we'll be using today in our entire example. And here you can see that it is a finished good. And I've also asked for this item to be serialized upon receipt into inventory. So I'll show you what that looks like eventually, and we'll cover off more of the components when we get to the bill of material to show you what that actually looks like. But to start, we'll want to create a new sales quote. So we're quoting in this panel item because a customer is interested in purchasing, let's say, 5 of these panels for the sake of argument today. Now, typically, if your production is very robust, it's very long, and you track it in projects, that is the example we'll be using today. We'll be actually using a project manufacturing example to make it a little bit more robust. Obviously, we know we can create a production order from a sales order. That's really easy, but let's take it sort of that next step. So that's why we'll be creating it through a project. But what I'll do here is I'll simply enter the customer. So I can do so by starting to type the name. And I'll just specify this customer for today. We'll be using Alta Ace as our primary customer. I'll need to add the inventory ID that we're manufacturing, and in this case, it's the panel. Again, you'll notice that when I start searching, it auto filters through the entire system. This is a demo system, so it's telling me I don't have a last cost as well, so perks of working with demo data. So I'm going to enter that quantity of 5 that we mentioned earlier to quote this particular customer. So here we can see that we're going to quote them 5 of these items. The unit price per item is $5,000. The order total is going to be $25,000 for this particular quote. We'll save this quote. And at this point, we can do a few things. We can actually email the sales quote out to the customer, or we can put it on hold. We could also print it if we'd like to. Really, it's up to you. So if we click on printing the quote, for instance, just to show you a couple of other things we can do. We'll open up the quote. This is just a sample quote. At this point, we can also send it from here, or we can export it into Excel or PDF. So we can drop this in as well. So just something to take note of in the future. So I'll go back into our quote that we just created. Here we can see the order type is QT, specifying that it's a quote. Now let's say a couple of days has gone by, the customer has accepted the quotation, and now they want to create an order. What we'll do is we'll click on Actions, and we'll copy this order now to an SO type, which is a sales order type. So we'll go ahead and create the sales order from the quotation directly, and we'll see that the order type has now changed to SO, and we can save this to store in an open status. Now, additionally, we can also attach things to this item, right? So we can attach things to sales orders, and we can do this. So if we just, let's say, drag and drop something off my desktop, and I drag it directly onto the quote, we can see that the files now have an attachment against it, and I can drill down and attach it to the sales order. This is really helpful if you, let's say, have any engineering drawings, AutoCAD drawings, or anything like that that you want to reference as far as, attachments goes to specific documents. And this is system-wide pretty much. So across most of the forms, if not all of them, you have these notes activities files as well. In addition, I can write a note, new quote for customers. So this is a way to sort of store information at the header level of a document. Alternatively, you can also attach things at the line level. So if I wanted to attach something particularly for an item level or a line level, we can do that. Or we can even add notes at a line level note. So just a couple of examples on, things about as far as, just some high level administration, so to speak. So here you can see that the system is also yelling at me because I don't have inventory on hand. I don't have that quantity. I have not manufactured this item. So if we drill down into the inventory ID just for a point of reference, if we go to our warehouse details, we'll see that there is a 0 quantity on hand. And we don't really want to go into negative inventory. That's not typically a recommendation that we give to anybody, but this will obviously go away as soon as we manufacture this item. So in a perfect scenario, we could technically just create a production order directly from the sales order here, but that's a little bit rudimentary. So let's take it a next step. We're going to go ahead and create a project and create a production order directly to the project.